Hey guys, so I'm just making this video today. I've been watching the news over obviously the last few days, like everyone else has. Over the past 2 weeks, Taliban has been taking over swathes of Afghanistan. Since the US withdrawal from Afghanistan, the British withdrawal, they have been taking over city by city by city with days of success where they're essentially just taking over left, right, and center. Now, this is, of course, an internal matter for Afghanistan, but what's really irritating me is seeing how Western and British media, especially, is playing the idea that, hey, leaving Afghanistan was a mistake. Look, we left, and now look at the state of Afghanistan. There's a fundamental flaw in the way that they're presenting the news today. Essentially, what they're saying is Afghanistan needed the West in order for them to survive. The truth is, what the British and Americans were providing to Afghanistan were a military solution. What Afghanistan needs is a diplomatic and political solution. Afghanistan didn't need an invasion. Afghanistan didn't need foreign powers sitting in their country on their soil for decades with no real result. What Afghanistan needed was help to try and form governments that the people want, a government that really represents the people of Afghanistan and not people that the Western governments are putting as puppets. The way I see it, the way the Western military and governments have been working, Afghanistan's government was poised to fail. No matter how long they stayed in Afghanistan, it was going to fail. That's because the military presence there wasn't solving anything. It was like putting sellotape on a broken bucket. You fill up the bucket, sure, it'll stop it leaking for a while, but it's not going to solve the problem now, is it? Same way, having Western presence in Afghanistan put a hold on the Taliban. Fine, I agree with that. They held them back. They stayed in rural areas. They didn't advance into major cities. I get that. I understand that. But staying in Afghanistan is not a long-term solution. You'd expect countries as developed as the West to understand the art of diplomacy. You'd expect them to understand how politics work. Yet what we see is the withdrawal of troops, and then the media followed by essentially saying, hey, look, we left, and this is a problem we've left. Oh my God, they need our help. Afghanistan doesn't need military intervention. It's that simple. If the Afghans are supporting military intervention, it won't work. You've had 20 plus years of military intervention. What has it brought you? Within weeks, your government is collapsing. Within weeks, 2/3 of your country has fallen into the hands of the Taliban. Yet you say that you need the troops to stay. For how long do you expect them to be paying billions of dollars to stay in Afghanistan? Like, what was the end game here? What was the exit strategy? In any normal business, when you go into a business or you invest in a business as an investor, you go in with your exit strategy at the forefront. You want to know that when you pump your money into an investment, you want to know when you'll be leaving. You don't have to leave then, but you have a plan. You set a plan. Same way with wars. Same way with invasions. You have objectives. Listen, ABC needs to be concluded, and only then will we have completed our mission here and would leave. The Americans didn't seem to have an end goal in Afghanistan. There was never an end goal in Afghanistan. More than 70% of those involved in 9/11 were not from Afghanistan. They had nothing to do with Taliban. They were from Al Qaeda, and they were actually from Saudi Arabia. Yet what we see here is an Afghan invasion for so-called, hey, we're taking out Osama bin Laden, war on terror. It was a load of crap. This wasn't a war on terror. This was a war of terror. Now, it's frustrating to see the Western media act as if the Middle East and these Asian nations, and within, for example, Afghanistan, we need help from the West. It's wrong. We don't need military help from the West. What we need is someone to come in as a middleman to help negotiate and come up with an agreement, come up with a deal, come up with an arrangement where the country can run, where the people are happy with those who govern, where those who are governing understand how to govern the country, right? It's just frustrating. How are these media companies getting away with it? What's your solution, BBC and Sky News? Do you want to go send in the troops again? What did it achieve? Now, in America, they're getting a bollocking. Why? Because billions of dollars over 20 years, I believe it was $88 billion, was invested into the army in Afghanistan to take care of themselves, to help look after their country. $88 billion of UX tax money. That's not including British money, by the way. US alone. 88 billion was invested in Afghanistan's infrastructure. Where did it all go? How did $88 billion worth of investments just vanish within 2 weeks? Does it make sense? No, it doesn't. Because maybe the region didn't need a military solution. The only way I see a way forward for Afghanistan right now is for both sides to come to an agreement. Ashraf Ghani has got to go. He was put in there by the West. The people clearly don't want Ghani. And Ghani's waiting for his little salary package, his whatever exiting package. And he'll run away like the coward he is. But what we need to see is negotiations and agreements between a future government. One where both the Taliban and the other parties can join together to govern an independent Afghanistan. That's the only way forward, and military intervention is not the solution.